Fantastic.
You look toasted. You're all red.
It's a lot of drinks. It's that's how science works, bro. It's just it's a single party wiretapping state. That's what it is. Meaning I don't even have to notify you if I'm recording.
Oh, man, you're so free.
Only
But
one of us
wouldn't I
needs
have
to
to
know.
be in Maine too, or no? Do we both need to be in Maine in order for that to be okay, or can I be in Massachusetts? It seems like the fact that I'm in Massachusetts probably means that everything is illegal.
It's probably super
Probably.
illegal.
I am drinking Javelina.
Javelina. Like the small animal?
I don't know.
Pig-like?
Well, there is a thing in a rocking chair there. This
Yeah,
is Rockingham Brewing Company. It's a 6.5 ABV indie IPA.
very nice. Yeah, the javelina, I think, is a little pig-like creature.
Well, again, see,
Nice.
there it is.
And I am drinking the venerable
Shinerbach.
Shinerbach.
Says little taste of Texas. It's beautiful.
Yeah, a little bit of a hint of caramel to it. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's good. This is a fantastic friggin' beer, and it's right out of it might be Portsmouth.
Really?
Derry. No, it's in Derry. Rockingham. Come on, Santo, for fuck's sake. Portsmouth is in what? Stratford County. Right?
Stratham.
Stratford. Dover's in Stratford, so I assume Portsmouth must be too. Clearly, geography not my strong suit.
Not local geography.
Geography in general. Javelina. This is really unbelievably good. It says "Trust the pig" right on the bottle, right on the can.
See, I knew it was a pig-like creature.
This is a can, not a bottle.
How do you spell javelina? Javelinas. That's a peccary. Okay. Medium-sized pig-like hoofed mammal of the. No, not gonna. I'm not even gonna try that word.
Javelina?
No. Of the family Tayasuidae. Tayasuidae. Found throughout Central and South America. Javelina.
Why would a brewer in Derry, New Hampshire, call their beer that?
Maybe they've got a pet one.
Just kind of hanging around.
Yeah,
it's like they found it on the backwoods of Derry.
Dude, you can get like weird pets anywhere now.
Yeah, there's alpacas up the street here.
There's more tigers in captivity in Texas than there are in the wild in the world.
In Texas?
Yeah,
did you say tigers?
There's more tigers in captivity in Texas than there are in the wild.
I know that I know some random shit, Dan, but where the fuck did you get that from? Like, where does that, why is that in there?
There's so much of that.
Where does that live? Like, where does the information, it's back here.
I don't know. It fires out at the worst times.
Does it hurt when you think it up?
Fire that.
Not
fire
think it up,
that
but
kinda...
I mean, like, pull it out of the file drawer.
Nope.
Nope.
It falls. It falls out like when you drop a quarter in a gumball machine, because those are a thing anymore. You turn the dial, and then just stupid falls out of my mouth.
But it's not stupid. It's really smart.
No, I've been drinking the North Country ciders, the Berry Patch, a lot lately. Because
beer is bloaty.
No, it's just good. It's just delicious.
Oh, it's just good. All right. That's fair. Oh, that's fine. I was never a cider guy, so I can't attest to the deliciousness of cider. I can only say that that it can be a nice alternative to, I don't know, water, you know. If that's all you got, because like it's the thing for me is that there isn't a lot of joy that you can just partake in on a regular basis. Beer, wine, good food, sex, you know, like these are the things, right?
Right, the solids.
Now, beer makes me kind of sick to my stomach. Lots of food makes me really sick to my stomach. Drink too much wine, probably get a bad headache, right? Everything comes with like a problem attached to it. So water is frequently the thing that we all stick to, or at least I do. I stick to water because I have like the constitution of an 87-year-old man. So it's like, so
You're all delicate now.
oh my God. Now I'm increasingly more delicate, and I started out like Mr. Glass. So I'm the white Mr. Glass.
Now, see, it used to be the exact opposite. People started drinking beer more prominently when water wasn't safe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Because water
that was
wasn't
the whole
treated.
reason that I'm drinking it, right? The IPA. There's
Yeah.
the whole reason that they that's why it was bitter and whatever else too, because they were trying to preserve it or whatever, like for the long trips around India, the Horn, whatever it was called, Cape Good Hope there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, geography probably not my strong. That's probably the wrong cape that I'm talking about.
There are several.
Isn't
There
it
are
Cape
several
of
capes.
Good Hope, the one that's underneath Africa? Isn't that one?
It doesn't sound right.
You're like, no, that doesn't sound right.
Here's the thing, though. Power of modern technology. I can look it up while talking to you.
That's good, because then the lighting changes, so it's like it's action packed. Like I'm getting excited because things are happening. The sheen on your face has changed, and I know that there's like it's like a hacker movie now.
There's
Like
research going on.
You're a fucking extra in Hackers, or no, not Hackers. What was that one? Sneakers. You and Dan Aykroyd, and was it Robert Redford? Was Robert Redford in Sneakers? John Badham directed. Fuck, I'm making up all the things right
Dude, that's
now.
well outside my wheelhouse. That's
I'm
all
throwing
you.
out everything right now. If John Badham directed, okay, I'm looking out now. Now watch my face glow, bitch.
You're so glowy.
All right, so I am right that it was. It's 1992, for fuck's sake.
Really?
Computer hacker movie that was made in 1992, the year before I graduated high school. It was not John Badham. It was Phil Alden Robinson, who had a really cool career. But it was Aykroyd and Redford.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you, Aykroyd, and Redford in my mind now. You're one of them. Alden Robinson, man, he did
and
some.
Keith
He did
David.
friggin' Field of Dreams, man.
Yep, Cape of Good Hope. Yep, that's Cape Town.
I was right.
It's the southern tip of the Cape Peninsula.
Jesus Christ. Everything's coming up Santo right now. I'm not nearly the dunderhead I thought I was, even after
you're
this
batting
many beers.
1,000. You're batting 1,000.
So, first of all, the drinks.
Yes, we are 3 drinks deep. A minimum of.
Or a minimum of. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A minimum of 3 beers or drinks deep. Doesn't have to be beer. I was almost going to be wine, but we do that because we loosen the everything, the lips,
Yeah.
and the elasticity of thought. We shuffle off the routine of our lives, and we expand our minds with the beverage.
And expound upon topics that we don't normally talk about.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, which would be like something like what we're doing right now to introduce the show. We certainly wouldn't talk about this in general.
No. But we are 2 very good friends with a lot of things that we agree wholeheartedly on, and some things that we believe very differently about.
Yeah.
And I feel like we find a way to find a central path.
Oh my God, you're turning this into a political allegory.
Not on purpose.
We're gonna show the world how two different people, how Whitey
We started off
doesn't
the
have to
podcast talking
oppress.
about pig beer, dude. I don't think it's got that many political overtones.
I don't know.
Pig beer.
Maybe we're the key, Dan. Maybe we're the key. Oh, I don't think so, because we both land kind of on the same side of the political spectrum. So,
I think we're both pretty centralist in that regard.
I'm either a centrist, or I'm so far to the left that I've somehow bounced off the wall and head back to the center. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know.
There are a few things that I'm pretty right about.
No, I know, yeah.
But then there's a lot of things that I'm actually pretty left about. I think it's very topic specific.
Yeah.
And but whatever. This doesn't necessarily have to be about politics anyway.
No, I know, but I think those inevitably do creep in, because we're going to have two friends talking and there's beer involved and there's trust. There's that level of trust involved where you can say things to the person without the person going berserk on you or whatever. Because that's kind of what this is, right? Is this sort of idea of two guys. The other things I wanted to say when we were talking about this was that the motivations behind it aren't just. We have very busy lives. We're people that are at a certain stage of our lives where we're parents, we have significant others, and we have full-time jobs. And between those three roles that we play in our lives, friendship is the one that always gets scooted out of the way. And
yeah,
I was going to say, like, this, if nothing else for me, is an opportunity to hang out with a friend for a time and get some much needed social time in. So it's it's very selfish. So for me, the primary motivator here is to share time with a friend.
See, it's kind of hard to like keep and maintain your friendships as an adult, and it's even harder to make new friendships as an adult. Like I kind of feel like for the most part, you just sort of like, I feel like an island. It's like, oh, I've got all these responsibilities that I need to take care of. But when those are done with, it's like, cool. Now what I'm going to do.
Apparently it's GTA.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a big difference between you and I.
Yeah.
Gaming.
Because I was playing GTA right before I hopped on. Yeah. GTA 5.
Do you ever see these videos on YouTube where people take like GTA like mods or something like that, and they put I'm pretty sure this is what it is, but they create videos of like Spider-Man and the Hulk and like all these characters, Mickey Mouse and fucking Joker and Harley Quinn, and they're all they're from all over, Dragon Ball Z guy, and they get into cars and they drive and they crash and they go up like these impossibly high mountains and stuff. They leap off and then the cars go flying and they're flying through the air and then they land and they're fine. Have you seen any of this?
I get that we're old men, like full beard with like the grays poking out and stuff like that. You got a bit more gray than I do. You're not that much older than me though, but
Just
you sound 1,000 years old right now. You got to understand that there's like for the better part of like 5 to 10 years, I want to say almost 8 years now, there are people that have full careers posting GTA videos to YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's kids that literally that's all it happened so long ago. There's people that have retired from that. They're like, I don't know what to do anymore. I can only crash so many shit into Mount Chiliad.
I've seen ones that are GTA videos. It's just these mods that they do where they're basically creating like CG movies out of like, but they're not. They're completely asinine and they're hilarious.
Actually, it's even more next level. Like if you think about the Rooster Teeth guys making that whole series Red versus Blue. They literally started that off in Halo. They were just recording Halo and doing voices to it and mixing it together and stuff like that. And they made a whole series. And now they work hand in hand with Bungie for like all their releases and stuff like that. Like it was such a mutually beneficial relationship that
Madness.
it completely blew up to the point where they're now a full-on blown animation and live action studio.
So we're in this for the money, is what you're saying, really? We're just going to create these videos for the money. Is this like Ryan's toy review, and we're going to make $38 million a year?
Oh God, I hope so. But nobody is going to pay a single dollar.
No, not a cent.
To see,
not a red cent.
No,
not a blue cent. No cents.
What's funny is I played video games a bit like over the years, and I kind of got into, a couple of different ones here and there, but I never gamed before like I started to when I really started playing online. And that was because you're actually talking with people and playing a game with them, because nobody wanted to like come over and play Call of Duty with me.
Yeah.
So I'd hop on Call of Duty online.
Yeah.
And I met some really cool friends and stuff like that. Like we're actually, I've met some people and, or we're just friends on social media or whatever. But it's really hard to like, you're at work and it's like, Dave from accountant's kind of a dick. Becky thinks I'm hitting on her, but I'm not. It's like I'm just trying to be like, oh, let's see some people other than my kids or my girl or.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right. It's like It's really hard to just be like, hey, let's go, do something with random people that you don't know.
No, doesn't happen.
You meet friends of friends, or if you have mutual interest or something like that. But I think it's really important to foster these kinds of things because we've been friends for like 1,000 years as well.
Yeah. Well, it's been, I don't know, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right about. So, which is that kind of math just, it seems very squirrely in my head.
It's again because we're getting old.
Wait a minute, no, 20. That's a long time. I'm 25 years old, right?
I know. I have these moments where I'm perpetually like 16 in my head, where I'm just like, wow, a lot of stuff has happened to a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
But then there's mornings that I wake up and I'm like, man, it really feels like there's broken glass in most of my joints.
I feel pretty fortunate that while the truth may be that I can't handle this much anymore from a digestive standpoint, I from a joint and like pain standpoint, I'm pretty fortunate that I don't have a lot of that. But I attribute it to pretty much being listless and not ever really exerting myself in any way, shape, or form for the entirety of my existence. So I find that just being a layabout has been wonderful for my joint pain or lack thereof.
It's like, there's so much cartilage in these. Who knew? Who knew if you didn't just do things that rips it apart?
No,
I told you I went to the knee. Now I really sound like an old man. I was teaching takedowns one night, heard crunching noises in my knee, went to the doctor, and I'm like, hey, how do we fix this? He was like, that's hilarious, bro. No.
Yeah. You don't fix this.
You're at a point where we just wait until it's completely blown out and then we give you a new one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, he showed me the x-rays of my knee and he's like, oh yeah, look at all these striations across the, he's like, in this and that. And he was like able to like pinpoint all the, so he was staring into a mystical crystal ball that was my knee. And he's like, let me guess, lifetime of military? And I'm like, yeah, quite a bit. He's like, how about some martial arts? And I'm like, oh, you see that too, huh? He's like, oh yeah.
It's all
like,
there.
See these chips here? See these tears here?
It's like a road map.
Yeah.
The active lifestyle.
He's like, you're not the first, and you certainly will not be the last.
No.
Until we get robotic shit.
Oh, that's fair. You would be Robo Pimp. That's you.
Ooh. I'd love to have robotic limbs.
How come I didn't make that movie?
RoboPimp?
Robo Pimp.
Yeah.
It would have been a great fucking movie in the late 90s. People would have loved that shit.
It would. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would the hose also be robotic?
No. No.
He's a RoboPimp with.
That would be in the sequel.
Oh.
You know, first it's just him.
Like that's
And
his marketing gimmick.
All the girls
Organic
like
hose.
him because he's like a pimp with fairness. It's like Dr. Detroit with Dan Aykroyd, except Robo Pimp.
Right.
So
Yeah.
okay, my movie, like the more I drink, the more obscure the references get, but everything involves Dan Aykroyd.
You're on a
If I
full-on
shave this, I turn
Dan
into
Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, essentially.
Kind of, I could see it.
Yeah, they get the big fat Lithuanian face. He must be Lithuanian or something. Aykroyd must be Lithuanian. But
If I shave all this, I turn into apparently a very fat Thai gentleman, approximately 23 years old.
Thai?
Yeah, look at these eyes, dude. I start smiling and drinking, and they get real small. It's one of my students actually said that to me. I made a joke about being African, and he goes,
But that was
yeah, and he
that
goes,
was
wait,
a problem? Saying half?
no. It wasn't a problem, but he was like, wait, you're black? And I'm like, yeah, I'm half black. And he's like,
Oh, we thought you were
huh.
like,
Because I taught Muay Thai at the time. He was like, oh, I thought you were just a really fat Thai dude. I was like,
I like that he just sprinkles it with really fat. Like he just throws that in there.
well, because Thai people are
Like that
very
has something
small.
to do. Like that has something to do with your ethnicity. It's like,
Right.
oh, I just thought you were a really fat Thai guy.
Hi, Tucker.
My dog was snorting earlier. You didn't hear that?
No, I didn't.
It sounds like a pig rooting in something special. Like
a javelina?
pigs kind of root around in their own filth and such. But like sometimes they find other filth to root in. That's the sound of my dog.
Is that true? Because I keep like everybody says, oh, pigs are cleaner than dogs. But on the very opposite side of the exact same coin, you're like, okay, also, when you release pigs out into the wild, all of a sudden testosterone dumps into their system and they grow giant tusks, more hair, like a bulletproof plating along here, and just destroy everything to include dumpsters. And I'm like, are they cleaner or not? I feel like you're just making stuff up.
No, clearly what you need to realize is that the gospel, according to Samuel L. Jackson, is that the pig is a filthy animal. So
I think a
pigs,
pig,
what does he say? The pigs root in something and shit. Like that's what he says in Pulp Fiction. Travolta says to him, what does Travolta say to him? He goes, then by this rationale, because he was talking about dogs, and he says dogs are charming because dogs do the shit too, right? And he's like, oh, that would have to be one charming motherfucking pig. Much more charming than that Arnold on Green Acres.
What is climbing up behind you?
Oh, was it the cat? Oh, shit. Where is she? Jesus.
I'm like, what is...
She's like a ninja.
Yeah, I'm like, what is ninja and it's way up behind you and attacking you?
What are you doing?
Oh, God.
Are you gonna... dog, and she was all jealous, apparently.
Are you going to have an 8-minute conversation with your cat again like you used to with Cody?
Oh, man. Pour some out.
No.
Pour it into the couch.
I'll pour it out into my mouth because I don't want to make a mess because I'm a grown-ass man now.
Yeah, I miss that guy,
as part of being an old dude, you pour a little out for your homies, but it's into your mouth.
I pour it, but not
outside. Really. Yeah. I pour a little bit outside when I go out.
when I'm outside later, maybe a couple days from now. What is it?
Yep, there it is. Having the conversation with the cat.
She's just hanging out. What do you mean? Hi. All right. Here we go. So I think we covered it then, I guess, like the whys. I don't think we covered exactly why we would record ourselves and put ourselves on the internet.
I don't
What
need
is
a
that?
reason.
What is it?
I don't need a reason. I just it seemed like something I wanted to do. I was like, yeah, let's make a podcast. We're charming, handsome men.
Yeah, I remember you putting that one out there.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. You may think so when you look in the mirror, but this no. Every time I swear to you now, I look in the mirror in the morning. It's just one of these things where when I see myself, I actually do a little bit of like a Mr. Furley kind of like. What the fuck? Mr. Furley, like if when John Ritter and Three's Company would say something, that was vaguely like, because he would pretend he was gay.
Yep.
And, it was Mr. Roper that he used to say that to. No, he said it to both of them. That was an ongoing thing for the entirety of that show. That Jack Tripper pretended he was gay so they could live with Janet and Chrissy, and then Janet and Terry, and then Janet and whoever the other one was. I can't remember all the girls from Three's Company.
I don't even remember the later iterations.
Well, Mr. Furley was after the Ropers. Norman Fell was Mr. Roper and his wife. And they were... Norman Fell did not play his wife as well, just so we're clear. Norman Fell played Mr. Roper, and some lady that I don't know played Mrs. Roper. Anyway, the point being, the face that either Mr. Roper or Mr. Furley made whenever Jack would make some sort of innuendo or whatever, or that was gay or whatever, the faces that they would make is the face that I make when I see myself in the mirror every morning. It's that face.
Isn't it crazy, those shows that we look back on and the entire premise of it, if you viewed it with the lens from the paradigm of today, it just makes absolutely no sense. And it's not even like we have to go all the way back to Three's Company in the 70s and 80s. Bro, I was watching that Jason Sudeikis movie, We're the Millers.
Oh,
and it
yeah,
was like,
I saw that.
It was like a couple of years ago, and they were talking about how he was a drug dealer and they had to run marijuana up from Mexico, but like they're in Colorado. And I'm like, yo, marijuana was legalized 10 minutes after this movie was made, and it made no sense whatsoever the second that happened. Like if you were to watch that movie today, you'd be like, yo, this came out a couple of years ago. This is dumb. It makes no sense at all.
You guys were not keeping up with the politics of the time by any
I know.
stretch. The cat is going to shit in this room if I don't open this door and let her. So I'm going to just...
We'll edit it out.
Pause this. Just pause it right here. All right. Almost everything I do is añejo. This is my dad's vintage here. This is he brought Cabo Wabo, and it's not bad. It smells amazing. I'll tell you, it smells really good. But I like what do you got?
This is North
Berry
Country
Patch?
Berry Patch. Yeah, like bear, like rar. North Country Berry Patch.
It's a very different podcast.
It's yeah, it is. It's a raspberry cider.
A raspberry?
Yeah.
Your lady's getting to you with the alternative beers.
Yeah, maybe. Guess I'm a delicate little hothouse orchid now.
Oh my god. All right, no. So when we do these podcasts, these vidcasts, vlogs, what is this? Is this a vlog? Does this count? Are we gonna cut
I mean, I
so
guess
that
it
we're
could.
constantly jump cutting and being irreverent?
Oh, I hate that. No,
So no, we're not a
no,
vlog. Okay.
no.
So this is
Because
like a stream of consciousness.
yeah, I figure just something simple like we'll put a little intro on it and then just dump it.
The first thing I thought of was this kid show that's on YouTube called Steve and Maggie. And
Mm-hmm.
it's this British guy named Steve Watts who does videos for kids. And he's got a little crow named Maggie. I don't know why it's a crow. And he does the voices for everything. And his crow is always like hanging, and everything's CG in the background. He draws all the CG and everything. And the guy's like a multi-billionaire now. But this crazy little crow thing is always hanging around. It's like, ha ha ha, Steve, ha ha ha. And he's like, oh, he's British. He's like, oh, Maggie, you naughty, naughty bird. And it's, Steve, ah. And so the first thing I thought of was me and you having our own entrant, like our own, the beginning of his videos is, it's Steve and Maggie on English TV. And so the first thing I thought of was, it's Jason and Dan on Shit Face TV. It's the first thing I could think of. And I think by doing the theme song, we're gonna get sued just by me doing that now, by saying what I said.
If for whatever reason we were to magically become super famous podcasters on multiple delivery devices, right? This one would immediately be demonetized because of that 2 seconds right there.
Right,
They'd
exactly.
Be like, no, copyright infringement. Get the fuck out.
Do you remember that one moment that Santo sang Steve and Maggie? That's it.
You're done.
That's it. Remove all of their bank. You have no bank.
We'll be on podcast 1,000 and someone will be like, hey, remember that first one you did where Jason sang the Steve and Maggie thing? You're fucked. All your shit's done. You're gonna give it all back.
Okay, no, I can ride along with this concept, what we're talking about here. Do we make like 6 episodes like this one? Maybe not like this one, but 6 episodes, and then we take little shots of ourselves and put them in. Do we do action sequences and put that at the beginning so we look like 70s cops, like Sabotage video, Beastie Boys style?
Oh, or I'm loving.
Do we do like ourselves as final girls from horror films being chased through scary houses? Or do we do like the opening credits of Gimme a Break and you're Nell Carter? or
do we do like a
Punky
super
Brewster
action?
And I could be Soleil Moonfry, and I just said that because I like to say her name, and then you think about
Soleil Moonfry is actually about the same age as me, and I had the biggest crush on her growing up, and I'm sure I'm not nearly in the minority at all.
No, I think most of you guys your age were,
because she was such a cutie when I was that age.
Right.
And then there was that episode of the Wonder Years where she came on and she took a boat ride with Kevin. Like they were in like a rowboat or whatever, but she had like hit puberty hard. And it was like, oh shit.
No, she did.
Whoa.
There was like a whole
Punky's fine as fuck.
Yeah. Punky Brewster became Punky Boobster.
Yeah.
And it was and I just paused like that was a laugh getter. Like we should have just we need to insert a laugh track there because it was gross. So horrible. That the way that I delivered that joke. Oh my god.
Between Soleil Moonfry and
Alyssa Milano.
Topanga.
Oh, see, we're that far in age enough where you're Topanga and you're Soleil Moonfry and I'm the Alyssa Milano.
Don't get it twisted. Alyssa Milano was fine. But for me, the curvy girls, Topanga was super curvy. She still is. She's still
Was
on
she
TV
Full
now.
House? Was that? No. Who is she?
Boy Meets
Where was
World.
she from? I know the name. What?
Boy Meets World.
Oh yeah, no, I never watched it. That's why. Yeah, I don't. I know her name, and I could probably, but I can't remember who she is. This is why you wanted video, because of the fucking faces that I make.
It actually is.
You're such a dick.
Dude, there's so much more to be had from body language. Like, yeah, voice is good, but
I don't think
don't
we're
know.
interesting enough for. We're not interesting enough for podcasts. We need more. There has to be
Physical comedy.
low grade video quality.
Slapstick.
Right. Exactly.
Some old timey Buster Keaton.
I think Silver Spoons. I'm Willis. No, that's the wrong one. Different Strokes. Different Strokes. You're Gary Coleman and I'm Willis. I'll pay anything for you to just say, what you talking about, Willis?
Hey, Silver Spoons was Ricky Schroeder, right?
Yeah. Nobody needs to. Nobody cares.
Dude, he had his own train
Yeah, no.
in the house.
Ugh.
It's such a stupid thing. Here's the thing.
There's a
I look
reason.
back-
That's the
I
reason
look
we
back
have
on
white
that.
male privilege in this world. It's silver spoons. This is the reason that all the women hate the men now. It's silver spoons. It's Ricky
Most
Schroeder's
of the
fault.
80s, let's be real about it.
It's the entire 80s. It's the entirety of the 80s.
Yeah.
Huey Lewis, silver spoons. I'm not including Duran Duran in
What did
this.
Huey Lewis do?
Sports. Play. What the fuck was the name of that album? Sports.
Oh,
Sport?
yeah.
Sports.
Sports. I think, whatever. I was listening to like hits of like the late 80s, early 90s a couple of days ago in the car. Just rocking some MC Hammer. And like Hammer pants are coming back. Have you seen this?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Jams?
It started out with like kind of like an homage to it with like the sweatpants, how they are now, the joggers, how they're like tight at the bottom, but they have like their super saggy crotch. If you really think about it, those are kind of Hammer pants. But then,
Very much so.
yo, JNCOs are fully back, by the way.
I don't even know what's a JNCO.
Oh, God damn it, Jason. The
What?
JNCOs were the 50/50s. They were these jeans that had like the super wide legs, like the raver chicks wore them, and dudes who wanted to be raver chicks.
Dudes that wanted to be raver chicks? Did you know a lot of these men?
One or two. I mean, I'm trying to. I need you to look up JNCOs right now.
I thought were you typing just now?
Yeah.
You looked like you were in the pit of sorrow. Like you looked, because your eyes were like downcast, and you looked. I thought you were like upset, like you were thinking about one of your old,
my old pairs of JNCOs.
You like your friends that wore JNCOs. Oh,
JNCOs.
Oh, the raver pants.
Yeah, dude, JNCOs.
I didn't know that was what those were called. That makes me think of that crazy rave video with the raver guy.
It's a yes, all of those. No, it's a brand, JNCO, JNCO jeans. It was like a full-on thing, and I think they were called 50/50s, and it had like a super, like probably close. It probably meant like 50-inch length and 50-inch like width on the legs. It was
Oh my God,
absurd.
I remember them now. Like when you talk about them, I don't remember what they were called, because it was at the point in my life where I was so focused on whatever the hell it was I was focused on, probably filmmaking or whatever, but I didn't pay any attention to anything that was going on around me. But Z Cavariccis, I remember.
Yo, do you remember the Z Cavariccis that had the two Velcro flaps that like you opened up like Predator's mouth? Like,
yes.
There's
I
my Predator's mouth with my dick in the middle. It's like the
Your
worst
dick is the tongue in the Predator's mouth.
It's the worst way to take a piss ever. Like, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
Everybody knows.
You're gonna hear it from 3 blocks away. Like you left English class to go take a leak, went all the way down the hall to the bathroom, and everyone in English class still heard you.
It seems like it's such a move. It's like the kind of move that you would see in like Highlander or something when like he kills one of the other immortals, and then he's
He rip off my JNCOs and catch the lightning of the quickening.
The quickening.
Oh God, that was what it was called, right? The quickening.
The Highlander 2. Highlander 2. Yeah, the quickening.
Oh, it was specific to a movie.
No, it is. It is because Highlander 2 is actually Highlander is a decent film. I think it's directed by Russell Mulcahy. A really, really, really quality flick. And then Highlander 2 is
the Academy
an
Award
astonishingly awful sequel. Michael Ironside is in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't he have like a barbarian sword type of thing? And he's
they all do. Yeah, they all, yeah.
No.
Sean Connery's in it. Sean Connery, Christopher Lambert.
Yeah, I remember Sean Connery dressed as like a cardinal. Like he was he was in all red.
Maybe.
Like
yeah.
Yeah, dude, he was Sean Connery dressed as like an all red Robin Hood.
Oh, as a cardinal. Oh, literally, or a bird.
Yeah, like a bird.
I thought you meant like isn't there like Cardinal Bernard Law, that guy? Like isn't that a thing in the church? Yeah, the cardinal?
Yeah, if it's the one that's wearing red, that's fucking Sean Connery. Killing it. With maybe a bow staff or some shit.
Taking people's heads off. You touch the children. Rah. That would be a good one. Well, it's Cardinal Bernard Law. That fucker, he was,
Yeah, it's like that's one of those things where it's like, what is your legacy at that point?
The only thing that this is a topic that I actually care about a lot because it ties into so Bernard Law is an interesting kickoff point for this because a lot of people view the church as sort of a problem in general. I don't. Personally, I think that there's probably a lot more good that comes out of it than bad. But that's just me. I have a tendency to think that not everybody is like a hate-filled gay hater. You know what I mean? That just is like, oh my God, you're homosexual. Oh my God, you're black. Oh my God, you're this. Oh my God, you're that. You're not true Christian. I think they are a very noisy group, those folks, but I don't think most are that way. But what I find interesting is that we will always remember Bernard Law as the guy that covered up kitty diddling, right? That happened in the Catholic Church. We're always going to remember Woody Allen, not for his really great 70s films that still are great, but more so we're going to remember him as the weirdo that, married his, beyond the possible diddling that he did, right? Or the alleged diddling that he did, but the fact that he actually did, in fact, marry his
adopted
wife's stepdaughter, his wife's adopted daughter. It's just that was what a good solid 20-something odd years younger, 30 years younger than him.
But life is about those defining moments, right? And like I learned a lot about this in my training for corrections. And that was, you make this one decision to just sort of accept things or to go along with something, and then you're caught. Then you're sucked down. You know what I mean? Like, so you've got a prisoner or a detainee that's like, he gets something in the mail that he's not supposed to. Just something simple. Maybe it's tobacco, right? You don't think it's a big deal. You don't say anything. You're like, whatever. That's cool. You just want to try to make things go smoothly. You know he's going to throw a fit. But now the next time he wants to do something that's a little bit more egregious, not really super bad, but he's like taking extra milks at the lunch line, right?
Yeah.
Not super bad, but it's a little bit worse. But it's, well, you didn't say anything when I got tobacco in the mail. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's that one decision where you allow your character to falter, that all of a sudden is like, oh wow, this is what they mean by that slippery slope thing. It's like all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm going to tell your supervisor that you let me get tobacco. And now your job's on the line because that's contraband. Right? And now he's stealing. That's an additional offense, but now you're covering that up. But then it escalates. But it's not like this huge jump to all of a sudden we're running a full-on drug ring in the prison system and you're carrying stuff in. It gets there by these little tiny steps where you were hooked in forever ago for this one moment of complacency, this one moment where you let your character slip to just try to smooth things over. And I'm sure there was tremendous pressure on this guy to be like, look, just smooth things over.
Yeah.
The church has to go on. It's just one person. Let's remove him from a position where he can do any more harm.
Yeah. And then it was another person.
And then all of a sudden it was another person. It's like, well, you did it last time. And if you come out with it now the people that made allegations for the first person, you're going to come out as you've been covering up for it and everything like that. And it just becomes this wild snowball effect, right? Like there's always these moments in life where if you don't stand up for what you're supposed to, then all of a sudden things just start stacking up and it becomes a huge problem.
So for him, I think it makes sense. Like what we're saying about Bernard Law, your parallel that you drew being a corrections officer and seeing that sort of stuff happen and what he went through is very clear. And what I was trying to draw was like that you, whether you're the corrections officer or you're Bernard Law or someone like Roman Polanski or Woody Allen or Harvey Weinstein or, obviously some of these guys are fucking like major transgressors, right? But
right.
I mean, and I don't know how much of a slippery slope Bernard Law got on, but it seems like it was a fairly substantial one. Like that it wasn't just a couple instances of this and he like looked the other way. It was like a full blown kind of like nothing to see here, but that aside, they're only remembered by that and not by the good that they did. Same with your corrections officer, same with your, with this cardinal, same with Woody Allen, same with even Harvey Weinstein, produced some great flicks, some great
like
films.
It's like that old joke where it's like, oh, I built this bridge, I built that bridge, I built the other bridge, and am I remembered as Pablo the bridge builder? But you fuck one sheep. It's like,
yeah, but they did a lot worse than that, right? I mean,
right.
That's the thing.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that's where I look. It's so in full candor, right? Like when I think about Woody Allen, I think about his '70s films and how much I love them, and how once everything happened with Sun Yi Previn, that not even all of these allegations that came out with him later on, I had already dropped off because of the way that he was in his personal life. Like I see the themes are actually very present in his films too. Like who he is as a person is very present in movies like Manhattan and Annie Hall and whatever else. And they made me uncomfortable with him as an artist too.
Well, here's the thing. How do you separate out your
That's
personality? How do you separate out your essence from the art that you create.
Well, you don't, and that's my point. Is like,
Yeah.
like there was something about him that I just kind of removed myself from watching his work in the early 2000s. And a lot of people would say, well, that's when he was crap, but that's not true. There were really great films that he made after that turning point. And this might have been in the late 90s. I think the last one I saw from him was like The Curse of the Jade Scorpion or something, and I liked it quite a bit, probably more than most. But after that, I hadn't seen a single one. And that was like, what was that one? He started going like in a Hitchcock direction, and people were giving him great accolades. Yeah. He really changed up some things, and people were giving him a great accolades. And then like Christina Ricci Barcelona or whatever the hell that was called, Vicky Barcelona, whatever it was. People love that one. I just couldn't watch him. You know, I couldn't go down that route with him anymore as an artist, because I felt like he seemed like a kind of sketchy dude, and it came through. The personality kind of comes through in the work. You know what I mean? At first it was sort of charming and funny, and then you're like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird. But I can't thoroughly discount that like he did some good work. I can't thoroughly discount that Polanski's like Repulsion or Rosemary's Baby or fucking Chinatown, you know, are not great movies. You know, they are really great movies, even though this guy was basically convicted of raping a 13-year-old girl, you know, at Jack Nicholson's, at a party with Jack Nicholson. Like, just weird things that happen to characters, these people, and they are judged forever on those things. Like when I made that joke about Cardinal, and I said, oh, there's the guy with the kitty diddlers in the Catholic Church or whatever. Like, that's how he's remembered. He's not remembered for all that great stuff that he did. He's remembered as the guy that protected the kitty diddlers. It's, and I don't know where I sit on that. Like, I guess well, I'm okay with that, because as you said, you made the choice.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you made a choice of something that was understandable, where if someone can put themselves in your shoes and be like, wow, that was a fucked up situation. You did the best that you could with that situation while trying to salvage whatever, trying to salvage a company, trying to salvage an institution. That's one thing. When things get really egregious, when you don't at some point just go, okay, look, I know I'm going to take a hit on this, but this has to stop.
Mm.
It's that moment between when you could have done something and when someone else has to step in and do something. Now, there's no way to recover that. There's no way to recover your reputation. There's no way to be that amazing movie maker or that awesome humanitarian. You're that asshole.
Yeah, that's it.
And see, that's the problem that I have with things like the Louis C.K. thing, where it's like, okay, right, it's fucked up, right? Girl comes into your office, you're in a position of power. Hey, do you mind if I whip my dick out and I just start jerking off? Right? But technically, did you do anything illegal? No, you didn't actually do anything illegal. Was it cool? Absolutely not.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be illegal to be terrible. You know what I mean? And like,
right.
And to be like just so immensely disrespectful.
It's gross. It's disrespectful. It's wrong.
So we can be castigated for it. I mean,
right. But should you go to jail for it? Maybe not.
Well, I mean,
was anybody hurt? Was anybody even really mentally scarred by it or anything like that?
Right. I don't know. I mean, I think
like I want to think how much damage
it sounds like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With Weinstein, fuck that dude. There's a reason he killed himself.
Sounds like he's a rapist, for God's sakes. But I mean, I think with CK, it's abuse of power, and I think that what it is I think what I like about the Me Too movement in general is that it it robs men of their assumed power.
Right.
Like it's just assume that this is okay.
Right.
You
That
know, that
whole
this
like
is,
carte blanche, I do whatever I want
no, I'm a
type of
guy.
thing.
I can do this, and
Right.
especially, men in power. So uh
I'm all
I
for
think with
leveling the
Louis
playing
C.K.,
field.
I think Dan Harmon is a really good example of somebody that did what sounded like a real and true apology, but it had to go through like several iterations. Dan Harmon was a writer, a creator of a television show called Community,
Mm-hmm.
and he sexually harassed a writer on the staff, and he was uh, unfairly bolstering the career of this writer within the ranks. Everything that she did, he paid more attention to. And there was this blurry line where she didn't know whether she had anything of quality or if it was just that he wanted to get in her pants.
Mm-hmm.
And he made her life really difficult because everyone around her in the writing room sort of resented her, and she wasn't seen as a peer. She was seen as someone with, something that the creator wanted, of the show. He acknowledged this later on, but he had to do it through like a series of sort of clumsy apologies. So and finally he just kind of like full on admitted his wrongdoing, and it wasn't coached with all of these reasons or these excuses. It was just, I did this and it was wrong, and I'm not sorry because it's going to get me anywhere and because it's good for me to be sorry and it's the right thing to do or whatever. I'm sorry because it's a bad thing that I did, and I am sorry. And finally she felt like at peace with what he had done, but he'd kind of like really run roughshod over her as far as like her career goes and stuff. So
Yeah.
people get damaged in other ways, right? Like, yeah, Louis C.K. whipping his dick out is kind of like these weird isolated incidents where they're just like, this guy's like a fucking weirdo, right? And he's gonna have to live with that shit now for a long time. I mean,
Right. But I feel
he did
like
it,
the
but
line,
he's paying that price. So
yeah, but the line there is
nobody
that
tried
chance.
to arrest him.
No. What I'm saying is that line is that chance at redemption. Like Louis C.K. will have that opportunity for a chance at redemption because what he did was, like I said, gross as shit, but nobody got hurt.
Right. So what
Nobody,
you're
and
saying,
nobody's career actually got hurt. It wasn't
right?
actually something that affected anyone's career one way or another. Whereas, like the Dan Harmon thing, yeah, that one
Yeah, that was a
person's,
real, yeah,
yeah, that's something that's detrimental to someone's career or their mental status towards their career, or
right,
it shakes their confidence to the point where that maybe they can't recover from it or something like that.
right.
There's there's
Louis
making
C.K.
them,
is like kind of like the Pee Wee Herman sort of situation, like where he was masturbating in theater
yo,
and it
dog.
ruined his
Pee Wee
career.
Pee Wee Herman didn't do a goddamn thing wrong. That's fucked up what happened to Pee Wee Herman. He was in a porn theater. That's
I
what you're
know,
supposed to do in there. I'm not saying I've ever projectile in a porn
jizz
theater.
mop.
I don't even know if I've ever even seen a No, I have seen a porn theater. There was a porn theater in Baltimore when I was stationed in the DC area. I never actually went there because obviously you're like, whoa, that's unsanitary. But
Uh,
anyway,
I
like
I
how are you gonna go and go, hey, Pee Wee Herman? Well, all right, I guess he had a kids show, so you're kind of wanting to hold him to a higher standard. But
you
then
want to
again,
talk about one decision?
he was awesome in Blow. Everybody forgets that Pee Wee Herman went on and did Blow, and he was fucking
He
amazing
was
in
really
that.
good in Blow. Yeah, Paul Rubens. Yeah. He was fantastic in the Blues Brothers. He was a waiter in the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
During the scene when they go to the fancy restaurant, and it's the
Mhm.
whole thing with Belushi when he's like, "How much for the women? The little girl. How much for the?" Just to
God, you're
bring this all
determined
the
to
way back
drag this
around.
into a goddamn dark place.
Always. I only know how to bring it to the worst places. That's it. Yeah, it's funny. I do think that's a really good example too of somebody that was ruined by a single decision, a single bad decision.
Right, and that wasn't even something that was like a progressive thing.
I think he makes your point better than Louis C.K. even does.
Yeah, and I think he makes that point even better because what he did was something that was adult, and people viewed him as something of a child's world.
Yeah.
And I have a huge problem with people that try to child-proof the world at large, as opposed to preparing children for an adult world. Now, I'm not saying that you need to expose children
No.
to dudes jacking off in porn theaters. That's a huge leap in logic right there. But we're talking about an adult who's in an adult theater, watching an adult film, engaging in an adult activity that, again, may be kind of gross, throw him out, but ruin his career over it?
Oh, completely. Yeah.
That's dumb.
But is it dumb for CK? Or does he pay the right price?
He's got to pay.
He pays the right price.
Yeah, he's got to pay the right price. And here's the thing.
So.
He's coming out and he's doing stand-up again at smaller clubs. And club owners they're doing the right thing. They're going, hey, just so you know, Louis C.K. is going to drop in tonight. He's going to do a set. If you feel at any point that you're not cool with that, feel free to leave. We'll even refund your ticket price.
Yeah.
That's the right move. Let him do that redemption and get to a point where he can get on with his career, because we're talking about someone who's incredibly talented, very, very funny. And look, we're all a little bit fucked up in the head. His fucked up was just a different flavor than what you were expecting. And he learned the hard way that it was completely unacceptable.
Yeah. I think it's just like the disrespect level of it is what he pays for the most. I think it isn't even necessarily the masturbation aspects of it. I think we've moved past. It's the fact that he just felt entitled enough, that he could just, and I think that's a real abuse of power. It isn't Pee Wee Herman. They're not equivocal cases. They're not equal cases at all. They're not, in my mind, they're not. But I think that Paul Rubin's situation makes way more sense when you talk about redemption and forgiveness because it really it was sort of a victimless crime. Truly. I mean, it wasn't a crime, but or whatever. I mean, I guess it was like public indecency or whatever, I guess. But
yeah, it was a ticket offense.
Right. But whatever it is, right? And then literally there's technically, I guess, no crime that is from a Louis C.K. standpoint, although I'm sure there's a lot of debate over that. But
I think it matters if it's on private property, which in both cases makes it so that it's not actually a crime.
Right. Fair enough. So anyway, all that aside, that's a very long tangent thanks to the word cardinal. Oh, hey. Uh-oh. You're mixing drinks now.
Yeah, doing a whole one thing. Got some straight up
Jesus
Jamesons.
Christ. All right. Now there's whiskey and tequila, so it's a good time to polish off.
It's not much. It was just the last of it.
I think it's good to what have we learned? What have we learned, Dan, tonight?
Oh, probably nothing. No, we're just expressing. And this is local honey.
Is that honey?
Yeah, this is local honey from Tender Crop.
The fuck?
Oh yeah, dude.
Are you putting honey in your whiskey?
Yep. Just a little bit of honey in your whiskey. And it's a whole other level.
Well, you do you. That's good.
Well,
You're
'cause
enjoying life.
Jameson
good
isn't
thing.
exactly what I would say is the smoothest thing in the world. But I put a little bit of honey, put it in the rocks, let it melt just a little bit.
Do you hold the pinky up? No, you didn't. I said the pinky didn't.
And it's perfect. It's out like a little bit, but it's still curled. Like you can't go.
You never go full pinky?
I'm not a full pinky dude. And that's not to disparage full pinky dudes. I
don't know what you. That was too many sips at once.
You know why I actually got local honey? Was for allergies. Apparently, if you take a bit of local honey, it makes you immune to allergies, to everything in your area.
Well, I need some local honey because I've got the worst allergies known to man right now. So.
I don't get them too much in the fall, but in the springtime, my face just tries to explode.
Yeah, that's me. Recently.
And it's no bueno.
Doctor, our time is up. This man right here needs to go upstairs and go to bed. That's the most abrupt way to end a podcast ever. Table it for next time. We'll circle back. I was gonna say we're gonna reach around. That is completely the wrong term.
It's a totally different.
Or it's completely the right one. It just I don't know. But
we're going right back to the Catholic Church again. It's just we can't get out of the dark place. We're gonna have to rename the podcast.
3 drinks deep or the dark place. Leads to the dark place.
Thanks for watching, everybody.